Hello and welcome to the fourth video in the PowerShell scripting series. In this video we will cover arrays, we will go over some bullet points, we'll get into some demos, create a few arrays, read through them, check their types, and in the next video we will go over looping and iterating. So let's get into the bullet points, and I hope you find this helpful. Thank you. Okay, we'll get into a couple of bullet points and then we'll do some demos. So from the Microsoft page, an array is a data structure designed to store a collection of items. They can be the same or different types. They can be strings, integers, other objects. Really, there's no limit to the type that, if it's in PowerShell, it can be in an array. Beginning in PowerShell 3.0, a collection of 0 or 1 object has some properties of arrays. We can get a count of, we can get length, do some push and pop methods that we can do with arrays in other languages. Arrays start at 0 by default, so if you had a list of 2 car companies and Honda was the first entry, it would be entry 0, not entry 1. That is a big key point to get across. It's hard to learn sometimes. Even now, I won't think about that when I'm in the middle of something. It's a good point to have across. PowerShell arrays are very similar to variables. A lot of the same methods are available to us. A variable can be an array, and an array can contain only one object. We kind of discussed that, where in 3.0 they made it to where it can contain one. We can use arrays to store lists, related objects, and much more. We can iterate through lists, which we'll do in the next video. So the array sub-expression operator is just another way to populate an array. It looks like PowerShell handles them in pretty much the same way. The syntax is just to add the at and then the expression that we want. It can be a series of names. When we use stuff like Exchange PowerShell, we want to make sure that when we add users to a distribution group, we add them with the at array. That way we don't blow away the list of the rest of the users. And now we'll go ahead and get into some demos and work with some arrays. Okay, let's get into the demos. Open up PowerShell. Go ahead and create our first array. We'll just make it an integer array. Call it num array. And we'll set it equal to a range from 1 to 50. We can read that array just by typing in the variable name. And we can see that it is populated with 50 characters. We can create an array the exact same way. We could use strings here as well. And then we can also, in a moment, we will demonstrate creating an array based off of the sub-expression operator. Very similar. We just say create a newer array, then we will set it equal to the sub-expression operator, and we can set that to a range. That can be an expression. It could be just about anything we want. We'll just continue on the theme here, and we can read it the same way. And we see that we have all 2,000 or all 1,000 characters from 1,000 to 2,000, or 1,001, I should say. So we can check the types by adding a dot, and then if we weren't sure what we wanted to put here, we could tab through. We'll just go ahead and use get type for now, and we can see that the this is a system array object, and we can take a look at the other array that we populated with a sub-expression operator. We can take a look at its type as well, just the same way with the .getType method that can be run. And we see that these are both objects, and the base type of them is system array. We can go ahead and populate these services, the sub-expression operator, with the expression get service, which is a command, and we'll see that if we read the array, it lists out the services that we would find if we looked in the graphical interface for services. We can do the same thing with processes, with the network information, basically any piece of information, any expression, any command can be set as the out or the input to a variable or an array. And we can see very much the same thing, that the types of these, even though they are populated with different information, they're still system arrays. Now, if we needed to add a value, or say we needed to add some values to our initial number array, say it was 1 through 50 and we needed to have it be like 1 through 100, we can go ahead and use a different method. So we can say number array and not equals to, but we can use the dot notation here with add command, add method I should say. We can add 51 through 100, and this will actually fail. This is a fixed size array. We need to change it to an array list. We will go ahead and work with this more later, but for now we'll use this command here to change the type of data that this is, and we'll just set that equal to the array. And then when this is complete, then we can run our command to add, and it adds as we would expect. If we print out the contents, we see that is in fact 1 through 100. I hope this has been helpful for you. Appreciate the view. If you are interested in seeing more content, go ahead and subscribe. And we see here that the name is now an array list instead of an object, and the type, instead of being a system array, is an object. Go ahead, and I encourage you to go ahead and test around or play around with some of these things, and I'll see you in the next video.